Next item on the agenda is the Executive Director's update. Sandy, do you have any remark for us?
Yes, thank you, Chair Nesbitt. The biggest thing to happen to this organization in 102 years, I want to congratulate Donald Nesbitt. Local 372 and DC 37 lobby executives, Mayor Eric Adams, and the legislation sponsor, Ferro Amato, and the many individuals and organizations that supported passage of New York State Law A7156, Ferro Amato, the auto enrollment legislation signed this weekend or Friday night, effectively, right?
9:47 p.m.
9:47 p.m. This has been a 4-year effort to correct an injustice perpetuated on our lowest paid and most dedicated New York City employees. We will begin the outreach before year end and will ramp up the information flows to the unenrolled into and up to the effective date of July 1st, 2024. We'll provide more information to the board as we go on, but this will be a burden we have been preparing for years, and we will manage through it with the current budgeted resources. We will not be asking for new resources. Hiring is moving forward with some challenges. We lost 2 staff today not today, but this week. Before they started, they had alternative offers before they came through the door. We have 15 open headcounts. We still see much competition for hires, challenging, especially in auditors. We're having a real hard time hiring auditors. Any help there would be welcome. We lost, as I said, a ops hire just this morning, received a letter of opportunity away from us. BERS will not be participating in the mayor's office request for budget reductions. While we expect to underspend our budget, given the year-long ramp up of staff, we are also facing pressure from the recently passed legislation on auto enrollment. We will examine our budget for fiscal 2025 for ways to moderate spending, and that effort will begin in the next few months. I'd like to announce that the GFOA Certificate of Achievement was awarded to our financial report for fiscal 2022 annual comprehensive financial reporting. Congratulations to Chitra Subramaniam, the Director of Fiscal Operations, and her team. There are numerous audits we are responding to with, among others, Grant Thornton, the Department of Financial Services, the Controller, and as well as internal audit staff. Recently, Milliman, a actuarially focused audit conducted through the auspices of the Controller, Milliman is hired as a third party, directed their report on New York City retirement systems. Milliman's report was prepared for New York City Office of Controller dated 11/29/2023. Milliman reviewed BERS administrative procedures, audit control methods, performance, system capabilities, and other non-standard processes. One area previously noted for improvement during the previous 2018 administrative review was the quality of data provided by BERS to the Office of the Actuary on an annual basis. In this review cycle, conducted for the period 2022 to 23, Milliman noted our current involvement of automation in the creation of valuation files as a good and important use of technology for both processing efficiency and mitigation of risk, and commented favorably on our administrative systems improvements. Overall, BERS received satisfactory score in all 5 review categories, and Milliman concluded that each system is being administered in an appropriate expected manner in comparison to Milliman's best practices, industry standards, and industry trends. This is the first year for BERS has been awarded satisfactory, the highest score given across all categories and criteria. Milliman also provided recommendations for improvement. Overall, just congratulations to Iakazi Ezefili, our Director of Internal Audit, Chitra Subramaniam, and the entire leadership team that over the last 7 years have made significant progress in improving member support through improved systems, processes, and procedures. I'd like to just note a couple of things about opportunities for trustee education. Coriad Trustee Educational Conference is scheduled for January 16th through 19th. And NYCBERS has a pension communication summit, January 21st to 22nd. 2 of our MCU staff will be attending that conference. There is a Married Up NYCBERS conference shortly after the summit on legislative focusing in Washington, and that conference focuses on state and federal legislation affecting public pension funds. There is a extraordinarily favorable fiduciary investor symposium scheduled for September. If Effie was here, I'd ask him to explain to you how good that program is. It's probably one of the best programs in the country. That's in September. Karen Wong can assist with any registrations for these. And then finally, we are trying to set up, you've been getting doodles. I'm not exactly sure what a doodle is, but I'm confident you've been seeing them. It's an effort to schedule on the calendar some additional fiduciary training. Cohen Milstein's done this for us before. We are going to force the issue. We're going to select a day in January at 6 p.m. and we're going to schedule it, and then we see what we can get in terms of people committing to attend. So you'll see that in your email, and we're hoping that you can attend. And then finally, the Mayor's Office of Pension and Investments is rerunning their Baruch fiduciary and trustee education program. Margie attended that last time. I think Lily attended it.
No.
No? Who else attended it? Maisha, did you
Tazzy
attend?
and Shuri.
Tezzy? Oh,
Tezzy
thank you
and
very much.
I attended the first time this year.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a very good program. If you can attend, we'll get you more information about it. And that's enough for me.
Thank you, Sandy. Are there any questions?
One question.
John?
So Sandy, the Milliman was an actuarial audit, not an operational audit, correct?
They commented on both actuarial and operational. We can share the detail of that. I believe we responded to it already, and I don't think the controller's got the final report.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions for Sandy? Great.
Yeah, do you have any idea of what the numbers will look like in terms of your automatic enrollment? In terms, what we could project in a year? In terms of additional, I mean, not exact, but any rough idea?
So between 20 and 30,000 unenrolled. If you assume 85% do not opt out, generally speaking, in these kinds of plans, 15% of the people generally opt out. You could, I think you could see 15,000, 20,000 people additional.
Sandy, the last count was 35,000 unenrolled as of yesterday.
Okay.
So the plan would be to transition the unenrolled onto the plan.
So, yeah, the legislation, I defer to Alex on the details, but July 1st is the beginning of the program, 90 days to opt out. And October 1st is the wave of people into the system.
So with this legislation, and so we're gonna automatically opt in people who are not in that are already current employees,
That's correct.
all right, July 1st.
Yes. All new employees as of.
And all, I understand a new part, I'm thinking about the ones that exist today.
Yeah, so starting July 1st, 90-day clock starts. They can, anybody who's already in service in an eligible title and not serving provisionally, has 90 days to submit an opt-out form between July 1st and October 1st, or rather September 30th. And if they haven't submitted an opt-out form, they get enrolled effective October 1st.
So you're not automatically gonna just start doing deductions on July 1st.
No, deductions will begin in October.
Got it. Okay. And I would just ask, obviously, for those who have not, we're doing an automatic opt-in. Will there be training and information and technical assistance and all that kind of stuff?
We will have the first letters that we will coordinate with the locals, hopefully before the end of the year. They've already begun drafting it. Daniel will lead the team. Sally Rivera and Allison Taylor-Thevin will be the MCU representatives. Maria Seppin from counseling and ops. Josiah Rodriguez will be working on the transition for ops. We've actually had a plan developed by an external consultant in working with ops to prep for this 2 years ago. We're just dusting that off.
I'd love to offer up our assistance from the DOE to, to do informationals through, principals, superintendents, kind of so they're hearing the same things across the system, as part of, the fact that it's their employment. I want to make sure that we do all that we can to get people enrolled and want to, offer up whatever we need to do so we can stop the communication from the management going down to all the people that are eligible.
Corinne, the
Got it.
biggest help would be in the crossing guards. We don't have their information because they're part of the NYPD. So we don't have any of their addresses or emails, so.
Yep.
the
So, you
crossing
know,
guards
I'm
is
actually,
coordinated.
as we talked about, I'm working on that. Apparently there was some organizational change happening, and so the leadership is shifting a little bit. So I'm on top of that, Daniel, and I'll get that to you as soon as I can. I'm gonna send another email, but I've already made the request, and I was told once the dust settles, they'll give me those. So we'll have them long in advance of this. So I'll extend my support with that as well.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Who do they opt out? They have to contact their immediate supervisor or do they contact BERS?
There'll be a form, but yeah, they can contact,
Who's the
they have to
initial?
contact BERS.
One last thing I would ask Sandy and Daniel is there an HR component that we ought to be thinking about as it relates to the communication, information, whatever it might be, right? Because for those of them who have not opted in, they're not used to receiving communication from BERS. They're used to receiving communication from human resources, and so I think it helps to close the gap so that it's reinforced by DHR. So I'm happy to lead that effort, get the right people in the room to make sure, I want to make sure we're covering all the bases.
That would be
And can I
very
answer
helpful.
that?
What'd you say, Daniel?
That would be very helpful, Kareem, because this is gonna be an ongoing thing. Once new employees are onboarded, their clock starts in 90 days as well. So not just to October 1st, it's going forward perpetually. So it'd be great if we could organize a training for DHR on this. So all the HR directors citywide has the information for all new hires going forward as well. Because first year of employment, that clock starts in the 90 days. So it's an ongoing matter.
Great. I'm happy to support any way I can.
I think also with, you know, just understanding the demographic. I know what happens when you have, the lowest paid are not necessarily thinking about having additional money taken out of their paycheck. So if there's some type of initiative to speak to the importance of that and not waiting until a crisis occurs where then you're now forced to. So, that's something also that.
That's correct. I want to say, first and foremost around this, thank, Daniel and Sandy for the leadership here. Getting it across the finish line was one thing, but the initial conversations when Sandy and Daniel came into our office and told us, hey, this is what we actually see, right? In Allenton, helping coordinate and write the legislation, right?
Sharon.
Yeah, the council and the legal team here say thank you to all of them. And just having a vision, right, around this. BERS had never attended, prior to Sandy's leadership, the Black and Puerto Rican caucus in Albany, right? And the first year that they go, I'm walking with Daniel at 3 o'clock in the morning and we bump into Nick Perry, who's now the ambassador to Jamaica, but he was an assemblyman. And we just had the conversation, 3 a.m. in the hotel about this. And Nick grabbed his staffer. He's like, we're going to get on this immediately. And then we grabbed someone else. And it was like just having a vision. They had never attended the conference, but at the board, I told them this would be a great thing and a way for us to push and get this done. And it took us some time, but there was a first conversation that led to getting it across the finish line. So I can't sit here and take all of the credit. I'm thankful to the board for the conversations. Corinne started, everyone this last month, sitting here at the executive committee meeting, I couldn't focus because I heard they were going to oppose the bill. And so Greg was having conversations, Paul Corinne, and people were having conversations all over the place, right, and getting this done. And so I'm thankful to you all. And Tony was having conversations with Diane Savino, who was a former senator who was carrying this bill before she started working on the city side. So there's been multiple conversations and multiple people. And I'd like to say everybody did a little, so nobody had to do a lot. And we got it done. Got it done.
Nathan Village.
Got it done.
They-
So any other questions for Sandy on his report?
Were you
Love-
expecting
I
something?
love your shorts. To the point.
And so, thank you for that. Too, I can't forget John Local 891 too, from the very beginning was supportive to his trustees here on the board. So can't forget to include them in a thank you from the very beginning of the conversations and this needed to happen. And so Sandy, thank you for your report.